duh. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our Twins Delivery Day Bootcamp. I'm Natalie Diaz with Twiniversity. I am really excited to get this show on the road. So, yes. Oh, good. I asked a question before, so we're taping it for you guys. This will be hosted on YouTube in a private link that's just for people that registered for this particular section. So if you have any questions or if you miss anything, don't get worried. Right after we finish with our class today, Amanda is going to add the link to one of the emails that's going to go out for you, so you'll have all the information that you need. For those of you that missed it, I'm here with my beast Betty. I have decided to do this not in my typical Twiniversity office. No idea why. I do know why. It's like 700,000 degrees in my office, and I didn't want to stay down there and melt with you guys. So if those of you who are just joining us for the first time or have literally just landed on this planet, welcome to Earth. I want to tell you who I am and why it should matter to you. So I am Natalie Diaz. I am the founder and big cheese here at Twiniversity. I started this back in 2009, the day my twins literally went into kindergarten. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. I was so sad, but I didn't have to worry about it because now instead of having just the 20s to worry about, I have thousands and thousands of 20s to worry about. So it's really, really exciting. So in addition to being the big cheese here, I'm the author of those two books that you see right next to me, What to Do When You're Having To, and the Newborn Twin Sleep Guide. The Newborn Twin Sleep Guide is meant to be read during pregnancy. So if you have not grabbed a copy of it, Amanda, could you grab the link for that on Amazon? And Amanda is literally, I don't know what I'd do without her, guys. I'm telling you. Also, anybody could grab links, right? But nobody does it like Amanda does. And thank you so much, Carla, for putting on your camera. Well, you're gone already, but that's okay. I still loved you for the second that I had you. It's really nice to be able to see your expressions when teaching, but I totally do understand about keeping cameras off. But I'm going to keep mine on because if I turn it off, that's just weird. And I'm not going to do that to you. So I'm the author of those two books. Amanda's going to put in the link for the Newborn Twin Sleep Guide, because I don't think that you guys realize that it's actually meant to be read during pregnancy so that you will never have to worry about sleep coaching, sleep training, any of that. We begin at the beginning and it goes through the first 5 months with your 20s, literally broken down by
In a
each
quarter mile,
chapter.
use any lane to turn slightly right onto the I-93 North ramp.
Rachel is driving. I just muted her. That was pretty funny. So yeah, so make sure you grab your Newborn Twin Sleep Guide. In addition to that, I'm also a child passenger safety technician. So you'll see that it says CPST. So I know all about car seats and all that good stuff. I'm also the host of the Twiniversity podcast. I think now we have 220 episodes and we still, to this day, have new episodes daily. So yeah, so if you are in the market for something to listen to, the Twiniversity podcast is definitely the way to go. We do title all of our podcast episodes explicit if there are any vulgar language, which I got to be honest with you, sometimes there is. So just know that. So we do have that title for you so that you know that your kiddies can't be listening to that. I am also a certified lactation counselor on the way to becoming an IBCLC. Cross your fingers, I'll find out in December. And in addition to that, I am also a childbirth educator and have been for, I don't even know how many years, and I've studied under Lamaze. But my most important title is that I am a twin mom. So my twinnies are going to be 20 in December. Can't believe it. Very excited for them to have the opportunity to vote tomorrow. So if you're in the United States, no matter who you're voting for, get out there because that's the only way that we get to have our voices heard. So yeah, I'm really excited actually, genuinely, that this is the first election of my kiddos. So I'm going to take them like it's like their first day of school. I'm all excited. Okay, so what are we going to do today? What are we going to learn today? I have given us a little bit of an outline. So we're going to break it down into these sections. So I have grabbed already my twins delivery day workbook. So if you have your copy, it really is a good idea to go grab this right now because we're going to talk about several pages that are in here. But yeah, specifically, this was designed just for this class so that you could follow along on some of the things that I'm talking about. So grab that. If you don't, Amanda will put in a link too for that. So know that it's there and it's 50% off during the time that we have our boot camp. So what are we going to learn today? Well, first, we're going to talk about 4 things to do before your delivery day. So if you have not done this and you are 30 weeks pregnant, don't get nervous. We just need you to have them done before delivery day. The next thing I really want to talk about is how you'll know that you're in labor. And I do want to talk a little bit more about preeclampsia and postpartum preeclampsia because I'm noticing a very uncomfortable trend. So I do want to talk about that. I want to talk about your birthday preferences because one thing that everybody discusses during delivery day is they want to make sure that they feel empowered. They want to know that their doctors are listening to them. And I want to let you know about some of the choices that everybody has, no matter what hospital you're delivering in, pretty much no matter what country you're delivering in. So we'll talk about that too. Then I want to talk about being an advocate for you and your twins. That was the typo that I missed. Amanda, I was looking for the typo. It's there. I thought it was the second word twins. I am just a jerk, but it's an advocate for you and your twins. Unless you have a twin, then you could advocate for them as well. So that's fine. And then we're going to talk about recovery tips and the first introduction to your 20s. So this is our plan for the day. So just so you know kind of what we're going to do. So I was just showing you the Twins Delivery Day workbook. If you have not gotten it, do not get nervous. It is certainly not mandatory. However, you're going to probably end up buying it anyway, as most people do. And I'm not like, please don't buy it at full price. It's 50% off only during our boot camp. So it's only going to be 50% off for the rest of the day today. So you could use the QR code on the screen and Amanda put in the link that's there. Yours, it will not come bound like this, but you could get it bound. I think this cost me $6 to do it at Staples, but you just need to print out the PDFs so that you have the things that you need when you need them. Okay. So that's that. And this literally, it is, Amanda, how many pages is this? It's like 40 something pages, or I don't even know. It's a lot, but literally, it's just pretty impressive. And we even have included a whole new bonus section on links that are specifically for each trimester. So Amanda's been crushing that. That is her project. All right, so here's where I want to hear from you. I want to know right now. You could put in the chat either privately to me or you could put in the chat to everybody. But I want to know, what are you most anxious about? So when you think about your delivery, I don't want to know what you're most excited about because, of course, I hope that is meeting your twins, or maybe it's eating sushi or having a glass of wine. I don't know, but no judgment here. But I want to know, when you go to sleep at night and your eyes open and you can no longer rest, what are the things that are keeping you up? Is it physical stuff? Is it preparation stuff like gear? Is it the way that your partner is going to behave? Is it how your mother-in-law is going to treat you? What exactly is keeping you up at night? I would love to hear from you because I'd love to touch on as many of those as possible. So that's the thing. It's like, yes, me and Amanda already have our 20s. We're good. We made it through. We want to make sure that you feel good about this whole 20 adventure. Now, of course, we can only cover so much in this little short class that we have, but the more that I can know kind of where I want to touch on, the better it's going to be for everybody involved. And this is the benefit of taking the class with us live versus watching this on YouTube. I apologize, YouTube families, but yeah, I want to try to get that information. And so far what I'm seeing a lot about delivery day, wanting to be able to deliver vaginally, both. You don't want to get stuck having one in one. That's what we call a double whammy in our world. Amanda, could you do me a favor? Could you grab a podcast link to the episode with me and Natalie Landis, I believe is her name, about her twin double whammy pregnancy? Because it's one of my it's one of my favorite double whammy episodes. So we're going to put that in there. Post-delivery, how to balance newborn twins and an 18-month-old girl and a 3-year-old who are all mama's girls. Kelly, that's going to be a lot of fun. So we could definitely talk about that. And that is something that I would love to have a conversation with you separately about, how to include the 18-month-old and the 3-year-old in your breastfeeding experience if you're going to breastfeed, because that's one of my fortes. Pain management, yes, we could definitely talk about that. Juggling the 3 kiddos under 16 months, Monica, we were going to be praying for you, but you definitely should want to connect to Kelly. So also use this opportunity to see what other people are responding in the chat. And then if you find somebody that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same exact thing, then definitely reach out to them and let them know. So Carla, this is her 4th pregnancy. I feel like I barely made it with my singletons. Can I really push out too? Yes, you can. 100%. Carla, I have total confidence in you and I am a stranger. So if I believe in you, believe in yourself a teeny bit more, but we're going to talk about delivery too. Pressure to breastfeed, my fellow Nat, we could definitely talk about that. You have epilepsy and your key is rest. Then you know what? Taking breastfeeding off the table right out of the gate, not a crazy idea. As a lactation professional, I will tell you, I have plenty of clients that I say, you know what? We don't have to do this. It is wonderful if you can breastfeed. However, there is no shame in anybody's game if they opt to do something that just doesn't work for them. And it doesn't even have to be an issue like epilepsy, which is definitely severe. There are people who have to go back to work literally in a week. That's not a joke. So I want to make sure that you guys all know. And when we talk about boot camp, you may actually want to join us for boot camp, even if you are not planning on breastfeeding, because if you are going, you're going to have colostrum anyway. Mother Nature's just going to give it to you. Might as well figure out how to use that and then get your milk faucets turned off. So, and also know that even if you don't want to breastfeed, any lactation support is still covered by your health insurance. So if you would like to book any visits with me, Amanda, could you put in the new link to scheduling, or do you not know that? I'll do it later. All right, so we could do that too. Okay, guys. So we have a lot of stuff, a lot of questions about C-sections. Mother-in-law is also good. So we could see that we have a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of things that are going to be keeping us up at night. Most people are really concerned about the health of their twinnies. Of course, they're concerned about the health of themselves, of course. But I will tell you, you have to put your trust in the professionals that are around you because you cannot carry all this weight on your own. Any anxiety that you are feeling, you really do need to confide in somebody, whether it is your partner, whether it is a coworker, whether it is the person who takes your order at Starbucks. I do not care who you talk to, but please make sure you're talking to somebody. And don't forget too that every second Tuesday of the month, without fail, we have a Twiniversity meetup that meets on Zoom with mamas from all over the world. And it's either myself and Lauren, or just myself, or just Lauren. So, and Lauren is another twin pro that is a doula, a lactation pro, a twin mom herself, plus two singletons. So just know, if you are experiencing any type of anxiety and you think that there's something that we could do to help you, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at community@twiniversity.com. Okay. Because I do want to make sure that this experience is something that you remember with happiness, not something that you remember, oh my God, I never slept. I was so uncomfortable. I just felt bad about everything. I didn't want to leave the house. I don't want that to be your future. I want your future to be, I felt ready-ish. I thought, I was calm about things. Like there's positives that I would like you to come away from this and not just all anxiety stuff. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump in here, and I want to jump in, and this is kind of the first thing. And if you have to leave for your lunch hour or whatever, these are the most important things that I want you to get done today. Sometimes people are like, oh, we'll hold it towards the end. I don't know what the heck is happening out there. I don't know if you just heard the ruckus, but my daughter's kitten is here and he is wrecking my house as we speak. And I'm actually shocked. He just scratched me. I don't know what. He has the zoomies. So I locked him out of the room and now he's protesting. So I want you guys to grab your delivery day workbook. And the first thing that I want you to grab is I want you to I want you to open to the hospital bag packing list. So why I want to talk about this is, first of all, when do you pack your hospital bag? No later than week 30. I also forgot to ask you, how many weeks pregnant are you guys? So pop in the chat right now, I'm 28 weeks pregnant. And also, it's not a bad idea to put in where you're from. So if you could be like Chicago in the house, New York City in the house, Tuscaloosa in the house, any play, because you may have somebody right in your own backyard that is expecting at the same exact time. See, like any of my New York peeps, holla. So yes, anybody who is in New York City, you should reach out to me directly at natalie@twiniversity.com. I'll give you all the inside scoop on the hospitals that I know. I'll tell you who to ask for on who's on duty that day. So anybody who is expecting in the New York City area, just know that I have a lot more information here because this is where I'm local to. So you definitely want to email me at natalie@twiniversity.com. Amanda, could you pop in my email? Be like, New York City peeps, do that. Okay. So by week 30, I want you to have your hospital bag packed. The items that I want to make sure that you have ready to go in your hospital bag are these things. Any paperwork that you need to be admitted. You have to have that all done. That's obvious, right? But if your children are going to be going on your partner's insurance plan versus yours, you do need to outline all of that as soon as possible. Because if you do not actually tell them whose insurance you want the babies to go under, by default, they are going to go under the insurance of the older parent. That's the first thing. And Amanda, I never typically talk about this, and I know I really should, but we've noticed I've actually had an issue about twice in the past 30 days where babies went under a different plan that they weren't supposed to, and it was just a pain in the butt. So you do want to make sure that post-delivery, your babies are going to go under the appropriate insurance plan. So having all your documentation is the very first thing that is on your hospital bag packing list. The second thing is if you are going to create a twin birth preferences worksheet or a birth plan, as many people call it, you're going to want to have a copy of that as well, because we can't depend on the hospital to scan everything in. I would love to say, yeah, they're perfect. They're going to put everything in for you. However, there's a chance that they may not. The next thing that I really want to make sure that you have is you really should get your own hospital gowns. The ones that they give you are not really made for twin mamas. Let's just say that. Okay, you'll probably have to wear one in the back and one in the front. But if you are going to bring delicious, comfy, soft cotton pajamas that are breastfeeding ready, do not put them on until about 6 hours post delivery, when all the yucky stuff has kind of gone away. So you're going to have a smidge of bleeding. I'm just going to say that to not be very dramatic post delivery. So wait till all your good stuff is out, then change into your pajamas. Once you've kind of peed for the first time post delivery, then ask a nurse to help you change. But it is not, they're not comfortable, really uncomfortable. And so to be able to breastfeed if you're going to breastfeed, or bottle feed if you're going to bottle feed, or just heal comfortably, you shouldn't be in anything that's uncomfortable. So people always say, like, is this a necessity? It's not a necessity, but it really is something that you're going to want to have. And I know that sounds so basic, but please just start shopping on Amazon, anywhere. Just get inexpensive ones. You can go on Facebook Marketplace for see people that have already kind of are selling used ones. You just buy some Clorox laundry sanitizer and you're good to go. Okay, so we got that. The next thing is bring a dirty bag for clothes. Okay, so you need a plastic bag. So all your dirty clothes, whether it's your underwear, your partner's underwear, anything, bring some kind of laundry bag, because I am now noticing too that hospitals are now providing more of like the reusable tote bags than the plastic bags that they used to give out back in the day. So make sure that even if you are not a plastic heavy family, that you bring a plastic bag. I know that sounds so basic, but trust me, you're not going to want to throw your clothes in with your new stuff, with your gross stuff. Okay. The next thing that I want you to bring is bring an extra pair of glasses or an extra pair of contacts. So if you cannot see without some type of visual assistance, do not just depend on one thing, because we have had multiple moms that have sat on their glasses right after delivery, or they have accidentally dropped a contact in the sink. So pack as if you're really going away on vacation for like a month when it comes to your eye stuff, but have a backup. Honestly, as like mom to mom, have a backup pair of glasses in your glove box in your car, because I have lost a contact while driving by just rubbing my eyes. So always keep one there just to make sure that everybody is safe. The next things that I want to make sure you have, this sounds so dumb, but you need snacks. And everybody's like, Nat, you're really obsessed. Yes, I am really obsessed, because if you deliver at 2 o'clock in the morning, and let's say they told you not to eat and you were supposed to be induced at, I don't know, 7 a.m. And now you're going on like 19 hours with no food, and you finally delivered the babies. It's not like there's like a restaurant open at 2 o'clock in the morning, depending on where you live. Here in New York City, our options are even limited at that time. But bringing some like trail mix or dried fruit or something like that, it's going to be great to just have that in your bag. So you do want to bring some snacks. Yes, they can grab you a turkey sandwich in the middle of the night, but it could still take them 3 hours. And if you are starving, I do want to make sure that you're eating. Not a bad idea also to bring a water bottle. If you bring a water bottle with you, you're not stuck with those little 8-ounce cups that are so dumb. Or you could take the pitcher that they're going to bring to you in your room, just put a straw directly in it and just drink as much fluid as possible. Okay, so Those are the items for you in your hospital bag. Yes, there are a million of them, but I also want to let you know we have a whole list for your partner's hospital bag. And you and your partner should have two totally separate bags. So when you go into the hospital, you have he's got his bag or she's got her bag and you got your bag. Everybody is all set. So that way, if you go to recovery for 6 hours or 6 days, God forbid, they're not having to rummage through your stuff to get the items that they need. So for them, I do have a separate list, and some of the items on that are one of the ones is so kind of crazy. It is a sleep mask. It's one of my very, very favorite things. So it's a sleep mask that also has Bluetooth, so you could play sounds in your sleep mask because we all know in a hospital, no matter how dim your room may be, there's always lights on 24 hours a day in a hospital for good reason. So if you want to get some rest, make sure that you put on your sleep mask, but double points. Bex, you could clean your dog vagina later. Double points if you are going to have the Bluetooth in there so you could play some white noise or some other stuff. Okay. So just have that ready to go. The next thing is if you are going into the hospital, let's say for bed rest, right? So now you're going on kind of medically required bed rest, get an HDMI cord that goes from your phone to the television so that you could watch Netflix and stuff like that. Not hospitals are not going to have every streaming network and you're going to get really bored and might as well use the screens that they have in their room. I know it sounds dumb once again, but I promise you it is going to be so worth it, especially if you're going to be there for several days before the babies even get there. Now, another thing on this list is your CBR cord blood kit. So they are one of our partners here at Twiniversity. They've been for well over a decade. I am somebody who would have used my cord blood had I banked it. So I did not bank it. It is a huge regret of mine to this day. My baby B could have really benefited from using their own stem cells. However, that wasn't an option because I did not know that cord blood banking was a thing. So reach out to them. If you have any questions, you could ask your doctor, but we find that post-COVID, doctors really aren't bringing this up because they've shortened their appointments a little bit. So the last thing they're going to do is like, let's have a conversations about cord blood. If it's something that you're contemplating doing or something that you don't know that it exists, call 1-800-cord-blood, talk to our friends at CBR, tell them you're a Twiniversity family. We have pricing that is exclusively for us because it is not cheap. But we have kind of negotiated that it's almost like a BOGO. So you're paying for 120, but you're getting the banking on the other. It's not exactly a BOGO, but you definitely want to use the code DUO2 is the code specifically for twin families. It is not exclusive to Twiniversity, by the way. That is for twin families all over the place. And why we talk about it is because I don't know if you guys know this, but you are not eligible to publicly donate your stem cells if you're having twins. So you could go to bethematch.org, and I'm a huge, huge, huge advocate for organ donation. Have been since I'm a little tiny girl, have had plenty of twin mamas that have had organ transplants during my time at Twiniversity. So yeah, definitely look that up. But for real, we can donate, which is so aggravating that they're like, your stem cells aren't good enough. Whatever. I digress. Kelly just asked that banking versus delayed cord blood clamping. I am very pro cord blood clamping. So delayed cord blood clamping, it feels like a weird tongue twister. So Kelly, there's no way that I would recommend that you bank over delayed cord blood banking, clamping. I'm all over the place. But you could still do that with CBR. Many of the other banks do not have kind of the mechanism to be allowed to do that. However, Kelly, I also want to say that, and Monica, I got to talk about that too. Kelly, another thing that I want to say is that when they're doing delayed cord blood clamping, you know what I'm trying to say, they're probably not going to do it for baby A. They're probably only going to be willing to do it for baby B. So speak to your doctor beforehand, because if you're having a vaginal delivery, right, even if you're having a C-section, they don't want to delay getting baby B out. And so they can't get baby B out until A is out of the way, and we can't clamp the cords It's just a mess. So you do want to talk to them. Monica, there's actually, if you get back to me about that, I have a whole other article about that because I also saw the article in the New York Times and also went absolutely crazy. But the reason why I'm still an advocate, despite the fact of what the Times article said, is that I have plenty of families here in New York City that are oncologists and transfusion medicine experts that are pro banking. And so if I didn't have people that were in my own backyard that I knew personally, or have had families that have used their own cord blood, then I would say I would never, ever be talking about this here at Twiniversity and know that I am a woman of my word. Feel free to look back since 2009. I am never, I am so conscious about the way that you guys spend money. It's as if it is my own. So this is something that I really would do, like no joke. So contact them, a local bank, whatever you do, but definitely at least know what is going on when it comes to cord blood banking. Oh, so crazy. All right, guys. So the next thing that is on our little list here is you guys have to take your hospital tour. We have now noticed that so many hospitals have cut back on so many services, and one of the big services is the hospital tour. So I have made, this is my specific baby, I have made an entire list. This is the list of questions to ask your hospital. You have to find out information that may not be easily found out in a hospital tour or online. So specifically when it comes to 20s, these are the things that I want you to know. Okay, so this is going to be a generic singleton. So whether you're having another singleton or whatever is happening, but where do you go in? If your water breaks at 2 o'clock in the morning, or if your water breaks at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where exactly are you going to go into the hospital? That's the very first question, because we now know too, with all the staff cutbacks at hospitals, there may be only one entrance and only one exit, as opposed in the middle of the night, as opposed to where you would go in during the day. Okay, that's one. Second thing, I want you to find out, this is the biggest one. If the babies are born and everybody is good, right? Everybody is wonderfully healthy. The babies are wonderfully healthy, but you have to go into recovery for a certain amount of time. What is that process like? Do the babies get to come with you to recovery? Do the babies go to a nursery? Do the babies go to their room, but then your partner or a family member has to stay with them? So I want to know about that. The next thing, very, very, very twin specific, is what if we have one baby in the NICU and one baby in the nursery or rooming in with us, right? So if you go to a baby friendly hospital, which by the way is not necessarily mom friendly, just throwing that out there. But if you're going to deliver in a hospital that has the policy of having your baby's room in, if one baby is in the NICU and you and your partner both want to go to the NICU to see the baby at the same time, what happens to the other baby? Interestingly, we have an entire podcast that is just about this situation. And it really ruined this mom's experience because she was not able to go to the NICU with her partner. She could only go to the NICU either by herself, which she did not want to do. She was very nervous about going by herself, or there was just no place to leave the babies. Like it was really, her specific hospital had a policy that a parent had to be with the baby at all times. And of course, because we're having to, it was just really messy. So you do want to find out exactly what's going to happen if your babies go to the NICU and you go to recovery. What's the deal? Okay. The next thing I want you to find out is really basic 101 information. What level NICU is it? So NICUs go from a level 1 to a level 4. Level 1 and 2, I highly doubt that anybody is delivering in level 1 or 2. If you are, by the way, I would love to know, just pop it in the chat. But there are most hospitals that your OB is going to send you to for a delivery for your 20s is going to be a level 3 or 4. And the differences between a level 3 NICU and a level 4 NICU is that at a level 3 NICU, they sometimes have to bring outside professionals to see your kiddos, meaning that if your baby needed heart surgery, they might be able to have it in that hospital. However, it may be an outside cardiologist that comes into the hospital to perform the surgery. Whereas a level 4 NICU has an entirely dedicated staff. They don't have to outsource anything. Anything that they need is under that roof. And I also believe that a level 4 NICU has a heart and lung machine, whereas a level 3 doesn't. But don't quote me on that. But those are really the only differences. So are we fine delivering in a level 3? Yeah. Most of us are totally fine, no question, delivering in a level 3, even a level 2, to be honest with you, which is definitely more primal of services that are offered. And if you are delivering in a level 2, then find out if something did happen. Would they be airlifted? Would it go by ambulance? Are you allowed to go with them? So find out all of that information before you deliver. That way, there's no surprises on your delivery day. Okay. That is just some of the questions. And I think that there must be, I don't know, 25 questions right here. Also, if you are planning to do any antenatal hand expression, meaning that you're going to start harvesting your colostrum before delivery, you have to find out if your hospital is going to allow that in. I know that we talk about this in our twins boot camp, but really in general, I found like in the city, you are not allowed to bring in your own colostrum. Don't know why. They don't want you to do it. So if that's something that interests you and that's going to be a deal breaker, then you really should know ahead of time before you start putting all the colostrum syringes that you have in your freezer into your hospital bag, because they're not going to let you use it. Well, they're not going to let you use it officially. I do not know what you are going to do because you are a human with free will, but I really would recommend following as many rules as possible. Okay. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to call your insurance company. I hate calling insurance company, but we have an entire list of all the questions that I want you to ask your insurance company. Now, the reason why we put together this specific list is because sometimes you got to be on hold for like 45 freaking minutes with your insurance company before you even get a human. So the questions that I want you to ask, right? I have a million of them in our little workbook, but the ones that I want you to know immediately is you should ask specifically if they have a program for expectant families. Do you know that how crazy this is to say? But there are insurance companies out there that do not automatically register you in kind of a pregnancy category. You have to be asked to be a part of those services. Correct. You would just think that, oh, I'm pregnant. I have United Healthcare. They're going to put me into their pregnancy group. No, not necessarily. I don't know if United Healthcare is still doing that. However, I do know that a lot of insurance companies, you do have to specifically ask about the services that are offered for families. The next thing is do they cover the cost of childbirth classes and do they cover the cost of breastfeeding classes? The answer has to be yes. They have to cover those services. But you may not want to take the classes that are offered to you because you're having twins. You may want to take one of our classes. Yes, we do provide a super bill for you, so you can get reimbursement from your insurance company if you take a class with us, especially our breastfeeding class, especially our lactation services. We are out of network with everybody. However, just know that they have to cover it. So if you go to healthcare.gov, you just put in the word breastfeeding. Within the United States, it is mandatory for insurance companies to cover your lactation services for the duration of your breastfeeding experience, which is an important thing to note because some insurance companies will be like, oh my God, we're going to cover 2 visits. They can't. If you want to breastfeed your 20s till they're 15 years old, that's nobody's business but your own. And they have to cover all the costs of the services, flanges, pumps, everything that is coming to you. Okay, that's the next question is about pumps. Call your insurance company and ask them, do you get a pump per pregnancy or a pump per live birth? See what's happening there? So if you get a pump per live birth, you're going to get 2 pumps, meaning that you could keep one in the house and keep one in your office when you go back to work. I beg you, do not buy a wearable pump. Okay, even if it is covered 100%, do not get a wearable pump. Twin moms make way too much milk. Your wearable pump will not be able to handle the volume of milk that you will be making. Plus, it is nowhere near as effective as an old school pump that you have to carry around with you in a bag. Okay, pump recommendations, all that, definitely sign up. We'll set up a meeting, you and I will talk about what pumps are available. I could give you all that specific information, but we do want to find out if you're getting 1 or 2 because that could play kind of a big factor in the recommendations that I may specifically make for you. Okay. The next thing I want you to ask is if you have a C-section, because it's considered major abdominal surgery, are there additional services that are available to you? So this is what I mean. There are visiting nurses that could come to your home for wound care. Okay, so if there's any issue with your C-section at all, even a teeny bit of oozing, a teeny bit of itching, some smelly grossness that's happening, you may be entitled to have a visiting nurse come to check on you on a regular basis to make sure that you are healing. And that way, you don't have to get in and out of a car, up and down the steps, all over the place when you already might be having an issue with your C-section incision. Now, I don't want to add any kind of insult to injury. So you could have somebody that actually comes to your house. You want to find out if that's a thing. If that's a thing, how do you go about getting that? Also, if you end up going on bed rest, you may need a home attendant. Yes, just like grandma has. And it's somebody who could stand outside of the shower and make sure that you don't slip and hand you your pajamas and do all that good stuff. Because if you were on bed rest, you're not supposed to be getting up to make yourself a snack. Hi. Remember? And yes, you can buy a fridge and you can put it right next to your bed and you could do all those wonderful things. However, you know what you could also do? Ask your health insurance for a home attendant. So somebody could make you lunch, somebody could get your sheets, somebody can make sure that you're not falling in the shower and that you're doing good. And that also, if you have a partner that is working so much and you're home alone for 24 hours a day, it's somebody just to say, hey, how are you doing? How can I help you? But these are all services that you're entitled to. And yet, when it comes to pregnancy, we're like, oh, that's for old ladies. Then we're old ladies. If that's the only way that we're going to get these benefits, I'm happy to be an old lady. But I want to make sure that you get all of these things. So Amanda and I were both eligible for them. We did not take advantage of any of these things. We did not even know that we could ask. We could only do better when we know better, right? You guys know better, call your insurance company. That is just one of the many things that are on my ridiculous list of stuff to ask your insurance company. And then finally, things you can't do too soon is you really should take a Twiniversity class. Clearly, I'm partial, right? Because it's me. And yes, this is my business. But even if you cannot afford a Twiniversity class, we will happily provide you with a scholarship if necessary. You just have to email us at community@twiniversity.com. But like I said, your health insurance should be covering the costs of all of this, whether it is your lactation classes or whether it is direct one-on-one coaching. It is fairly mandatory to be prepared. And so our Twiniversity classes have, hold on, I have it on the next slide. Let me just go to the next slide because I never remember it. Okay, so we have over 100 videos and you could watch it 24 hours a day. You could watch things a million times with your partner, without your partner, with your mother, with your sister. We do not care who you watch this with, but we have over 100 videos that are available to you 24 hours a day, and you have 9 months of access. And the best thing is you get that digital twin pregnancy journal, which I made myself. I love it so much. You're going to enjoy it too. It's a really fun interactive pregnancy journal with weekly to-dos and stuff like that. But if you have not taken any type of childbirth classes yet, you do want to take our on-demand expecting twins class. It is not as heavy when it comes to childbirth. So we're not going to talk about kind of breathing strategies and visualization and things like that. We're going to talk about really practical information that is totally 100% things that are in your control. Okay, so if you haven't taken that, please strongly, like no joke, consider it. If finances are holding you back, you let us know. But with or without insurance, we're still giving you 50% off right now. So this is another delivery day deal. Just know it is right there. This will not be 50% off for another 6 weeks. I will totally tell you ahead of time. Anytime we do a boot camp, it's always 50% off. We're not trying to hide that from anybody, but it's only now, and then it's not going to be available again for at least another 6 weeks. Is that right, Amanda? We're not doing another boot camp for 6 weeks? So there you go. So you want to make sure that you grab the QR code right there or the link that Amanda popped in, but definitely take her class, but don't let finances hold you back from your education. If you need help, all you have to do is ask. We can't give away everything to everyone because we are still a business, and Amanda and I cannot pay our electric bill in Dr. Brown's bottles. We have both tried, but they don't accept it. So yeah. So we have to do that. So this is part of the way that Twiniversity monetizes, and we're very proud of it. I'm very proud of that class. All right, so our next slide that we're going to go to is how will we know if we are in labor. But before I break this down, I want thumbs ups, I want hearts, I want smiley faces. I want to know that you guys are feeling okay about how quickly I'm delivering all this information to you. And if you have any questions about anything that I've discussed so far, pop it in the chat now. I will definitely come back to it, but I want to make sure that I'm not overwhelming you because once again, back to slide 3 or whatever it is, I do not want to be the cause of your anxiety tonight when you are going to sleep. I don't want you to be like, oh my God, not threw too many things at us. I'm not trying to do that intentionally. I'm really just, I have so much that I have to tell you, and it's very, very difficult to get it done in the amount of time that we have. So Twiniversity classes, when we used to teach these classes live, it's 8 hours. It's an 8-hour class broken up over 2 nights. And so out of curiosity, I'm literally just throwing this out. Amanda doesn't know this, but we haven't held a live Twiniversity class in a really, really long time. If we held those again over the course of 2 nights, and yes, you would attend with your partner or your sister or your mother, but somebody, I want a backup pair of ears. If we held a 2-night special event that was all about expecting twins and gear and everything, but you only had to go for 2 nights for 3.5 hours each, out of curiosity, how many of you would even contemplate attending? So just out of curiosity, just literally say, yeah, I'd be interested in that. Or no, that sounds like a nightmare. I have horrible ADHD. Oh, Kelly, you travel for that. Cal, I love you. Okay, we'd probably do it virtually. If all my New Yorkers are down, like I would love to know if you guys want to hold an in-person class. I would be more than happy to do an in-person class for you. My family owns a restaurant on Mulberry. Shout out to Lamella. We have a private room that we could go to, but I really would love to know if we could do like a 2-night Zoom class. We used to do them on a regular basis, but I don't know. Like, honestly, very honest with you, we weren't getting people that wanted to register, and we don't know why. So you're part of us now, right? I always say that like our twin families are like we're a secret inner circle. You will find that we do not run like a regular business. We really run our business as kind of like a democracy. If you guys want something, we add it. If you guys have no interest in it, we subtract it from kind of all the plans that we have. But yeah, I would love to. Amanda, could you do me a favor? Could you write down all my New Yorkers' names? And that way, and guys, I'll reach out to you separately. Okay, so I would really, really, really love to do that. I miss teaching in person like you cannot believe. Yes, but I think like honestly, like Mikkel, is it Mikkel? Mikkel? I don't even know, but I think it's beautiful. Miss Bell, I would really love to have a live class that we cover everything in a very less overwhelming way, right? We break it down. So this is just totally off the beaten track. If you're watching this on YouTube, pop in the comments below if it's something that you'd be interested in attending, because I'd love to hear from you guys too. So back to our regularly scheduled programming. How will we know if we are in labor? There are some major signs that I want you to watch out for, and I have put them all right there for you. However, I want to pay attention to all of them, even the tiny little ones at the bottom. So the very first thing that you have to watch out for is, of course, contractions, because I'm going to guess that the majority of you here have not had previous children. How the heck are you going to know what a contraction feels like, right? So do I have a boob on me? Well, I have a boob literally on me, but I was wondering if I had my boobs on my table here, but I don't. So I want to say that what a contraction feels like, it feels like a uterine earthquake, for lack of a better term. Now, a lot of times when people feel this earthquake, they expect it to be kind of, I'm going to use this candle because I have no other visual aid here today, because remember, I'm teaching unexpectedly outside of my office. But a lot of times people will think that kind of a contraction feels like this, oh, it's squeezing. However, a contraction may only be at the top or only at the side, and you may feel these kind of flutters. When in doubt, go to the doctor. Okay, the thing that I'm going to say, I'm getting really close, like I actually even want to get closer. I'm coming in really, really close. Listen to me now, okay? I would rather you overreact 100% of the time than underreact once. Do you understand what I am saying? Please, I beg you, if you think you're having contractions, do not dismiss what you are feeling because you read on Google AI. Please don't even get me started. Or you saw a TikTok video. You have nothing to do with any of those people who are posting any of those things. You are the most important person on this planet. And yes, I am speaking directly to you, right? Do not underreact if you are having any type of contraction, back pain, a little tiny little bit of fluid leaking. Do not sit home and say, I'm going to go take a shower. Everything is okay. I'm going to be fine. Yeah, it probably is going to be fine. You're right. But better get it checked out so that you could sleep better tonight and that everybody could sleep better tonight, knowing that you are healthy and that you are happy and that you are good. Okay, I'm going to move you back now to get out of your personal space. I apologize. But please, 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 even if the doctor's like, oh, you're just having Braxton Hicks contractions. The difference between Braxton Hicks contractions and contractions are that Braxton Hicks contractions do not move you along down the line of delivery. So you have no cervical movement, you have no dilation, nothing is happening. Real contractions, however, bring about all that good stuff. But how do you know? You don't. You don't know. You don't know if they're real contractions or Braxton Hicks. So go to the doctor, call your doctor, be monitored, at least have somebody say, nope, everything looks good. I know your medical history well. We just saw you yesterday. Do not get worried. Still have a medical professional tell you that you are okay. Okay? All right, pinky promise me. Everybody for real. I don't see anybody's pinky. Amanda, thank you. You're the only one that I have right now. Thank you so much. By the way, I made a rando pinky promise me something the other day, and he really did what he said he was going to do. But the funny thing is, he must have been in his 50s, and he said, I have never pinky promised anybody in my life. I was like, well, it's only too late if you don't start now. But that's it. But I asked, it was like a garbage man, and I needed him to move something, and I didn't believe him that he was actually going to move it, but he did because of my pinky promise. I have a hunch. So your pinky promised me just now. I hope you really did, everybody besides Amanda. But please make sure that you call your doctor. So any contractions, you call your doctor. Back pain. Why you call your doctor with back pain? Okay, especially if it's like super duper lower back pain, like right at the crack of your butt, like right at the top. Your coccyx, funniest word, funniest bone in our body, is actually curved inward. So it actually curves kind of into the shape of our butt. And if one of the babies is trying to hatch sunny side up, meaning that their skull is kind of on that curved little portion, it hurts so freaking bad. And that's what could be bringing back pain. So I need to make sure that that is not why you are having back pain. Okay. If you have, of course, your water breaks or you lose a mucus plug, you got to call your doctor. What the heck does this mean? Water breaks does not always look like it does in the movies. You know, when you watch a movie and they're like, oh my God, my water broke. And it's like this giant water balloon just exploded under this woman's skirt. And no, that's not what it looks like. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's just a trickle down your leg. And you could be like, oh my God, I just peed on myself. Oh, that's so crazy. So yeah, does not matter whether you think it's urine, whether you think it's amniotic fluid, you got to go to the doctor. Because if you are leaking amniotic fluid, that means that there is a way out, meaning that there is a way in. And that is when we get infections and germs and all that bad stuff. So overreact, go to the doctor. Last thing is discharge. Sometimes people are like, oh my God, I have this discharge. And yes, I have people who literally text me pictures of discharge in their underwear. I cannot make this stuff up. I am fine with it, by the way. But what am I going to tell you? Go to the doctor. Why are you texting me discharge pictures? It's really when I want to say, yes, I'm fascinated. Yeah, I am queen of the TMI. I am all about it all day long. However, I cannot diagnose anything. I don't know if you guys know this. I just have 15 years of experience in this. I did not go to medical school. I don't want to either. And even a doctor shouldn't be diagnosing things through a text message anyway. So yeah, so call your doctor. Okay, now here's the big thing that I want you to pay attention to. So seriously, write this down. I shit you not. Like, do not mess around when it comes to this. I have noticed a huge jump in both preeclampsia and postpartum preeclampsia post-COVID, right? I told you I've been around the block 10 times from Tuesday. I've been in this industry I'm very, very, very proud to say that it is now over 15 years is how long I'm doing this. Is it 15? It might actually be almost 16. Oof. So if you have vision changes, like one eye, like maybe you got a floater and it looks like there's like a mosquito that's constantly in your house, or even like there's like a postage size stamp that's of darkness in your vision, no matter where you look, right? It's almost like if you've ever been a child, most of us have, and you look directly in the sun, right? And then you like look away, or if you had like a flash, like old school camera flash, even the camera phones, like you have like that spot, any types of vision changes, call your doctor. Okay. If you have a headache, that will not go away. Your doctor told you to take Advil, or I mean Tylenol. You took Tylenol. It's still not going away. And now, like, really, you can't even like hold your eyes open. Call your freaking doctor. Okay. The next thing is you have unexplained swelling. Yeah, you've been puffy through your pregnancy. Who isn't? The volume of fluid through your body is quite extraordinary. But now this is like a new level. Call your doctor. Okay. You haven't peed in 12 hours? What? Call your doctor. Okay. You don't feel any fetal movement? Call your doctor. I don't even care if it's just one. If you're like, I can't tell, baby A is having a dance party, but I think baby B is taking a nap. If baby B is taking a nap for more than, I don't know, 6 hours, call your doctor. Okay. And no matter what I tell you, no matter what you Google, no matter what you saw on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, I do not even care. I don't even know if they have friggin' labor and delivery crap there. But wherever you get your information, all right, if whatever symptoms you have, if something is screaming inside of you that something is wrong, call the doctor. It does not have to be you don't have to write it down on paper what you're feeling. If like the little hairs on the back of your neck are standing up, or you just don't feel right, you feel very unsettled, you can't put your finger on it, just something feels up. Guess what those are called, guys? Instincts. Google them. You have them. So did your grandmother. So did her grandmother. So did her great, 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 great grandmother have them way before any type of digital information existed. Call your doctor. Okay. So I know this sounds like I'm being an alarmist. I would rather be an alarmist than, God forbid, you waited too long and you had to have your babies at 32 weeks instead of 38 weeks like you originally planned, right? Because the sooner that you find out that something is wrong, the sooner that they could turn this whole ship around and put you back on the right path. Okay. So please, I'm very serious. I joke a lot at Twiniversity. If you've ever watched any of my YouTube videos, which by the way, we have weekly Twiniversity videos, like I'm 32 weeks pregnant, blah, blah, blah. I have a video for every single freaking week under the sun. And I joke around a lot, but I never joke around your health and the health of your 20s. Okay. All right. So we're going to our next slide. Let's see. Oh, Amanda, there it is for you. Okay. So good news. We are creating a brand new event, and you are literally the first people to hear about it. So we have the only people that have registered for this event are Amanda and I. Okay, that is it. My dog is farting very loud. My apologies. I don't know if you heard it, but if you did, I didn't want you to know that it wasn't me. Although he who smelt it dealt it, I suppose we could use that. But it really was her this time. I would claim it, so don't worry about that. So Amanda, do you want to tell them a tiny bit about the registry book that you're creating, since this is like your baby and I'm just your puppet, basically?
Sure, absolutely. So this event is all about the stuff, guys. We get this is the question we get the most everywhere is what do I need? What's my must-haves? This event's going to talk about all of it. And we've created a guide to go along with it with our personalized Twiniversity registration list. So it's obviously going to be twin focused, and we've broke it down into categories of must-haves, good to have, okay to borrow, and skip. Because there are lots of things that a lot of people will tell you you should have, and that as a twin parent, you're like, once you've lived it, you're like, yeah, you don't need that. So we will dive into that, but it's going to include some information about car seats and what the differences in car seats are, because we all know that there's infant car seats, and then there's all-in-one car seats, and then there's convertible car seats, and again, until you've lived it, you were like, what? And so we're gonna do all that because the stuff seems to be the thing that stresses out twin parents the most in the beginning. And so if we can help take that stress away early and get you guys on the right path, then it'll just be in a better experience all around.
Amen. Thank you. That was so eloquent and well put. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. One of the things in our Twiniversity classes, the on-demand classes, we do talk a lot about gear, but anytime, like we don't get enough time to talk about it in like this class or the boob class, like we just run out of time. But I want to talk about like the different strollers that are available to you. I want to explain to you what, an inline stroller is versus a tandem stroller, which I don't know if you even know what that is. I'm happy to explain it to you. So we have this event. It's going to be a free event. It's going to be at 1 p.m. also on a Monday. We love teaching Mondays, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's a great way to kick off the week so that if you have questions, this is why, well, there's a million reasons why we do it on a Monday, but if you have questions, like our team is still available 5 days a week after that. Like we're available Monday through Friday. Yes, there's people who work on a weekend in our team. I don't know why, Amanda, why they're working on weekends, but I have no role in that. Everybody works when they choose to work. So yeah, we put this together for you. So Amanda, could you put the link in there? I'm really excited about it. So truth be told, I've only written about 20% of the curriculum so far. So if you have any ideas of what you'd like us to include in that class, pop it in the chat right now. I would love to know. So like, do you want to talk about like cribs? Do you want to talk about organic mattresses? Do you want to talk about clothes? Like anything. Like put in the topics of gear that you would love to learn more about from a gear professional. So I could give you my whole pedigree on baby gear, but I won't. Feel free to just look at the thousands of videos that we have done throughout the year and on socials. But yeah, we even work directly with twin gear companies like, oh my gosh, pretty much everybody. There's anybody who makes a product specifically made for twins. We really know the engineers and the manufacturers. We are some of the first people to know when there's a recall. And also it's like we said before with the Monica was mentioning the Times article, like we get the know before the general public. So it's always good to make sure also that you're on the Twiniversity list. So it's like, what is it? Is our newsletter, I guess we call it, to make sure that you're getting all the updates. Because if there is really a huge recall, we let you guys know as soon as we know, even if it's not public information yet, because that's just the responsible thing to do. So yeah, join us for our Twins Ready Registry event on November 11th. I am really, really excited. Ooh, look at you guys. Michael, thank you. I'm sorry I pronounced your name wrong. It was just so cute. And I didn't want to make assumptions because you know what they say. So yeah, twin purchases on a budget. Nat, we're twinning on that, girl, because we're going to talk about different price points of different products, right? We'll also talk about cost versus worth. So if something even is a little bit more expensive, we'll be like, okay, this really is worth it. Amanda, could you grab all these and screenshot those? I'm pretty sure I get the whole transcript of this, but I would really love to know. And the WeGo, yeah, we'll talk about the WeGo, definitely. Well, hopefully they're going to be a partner to like just between me and you of this. We have to have a call with them, but then we'll have one to give away, which is kind of going to be fun. All right. Okay. We got to go back to delivery day. All right. So birthday preferences. We have created yet again in our little workbook. Okay. So in our little workbook, we have created a twin birth preferences worksheet. And the important one that I want to say right now, I talked about mothers-in-laws before. Who will be there on delivery day? Okay. Who's going to be there if you're willing to tell me, right? And if you've had this conversation with your partner, who do you plan on having in your hospital room, either after delivery, before delivery, during delivery? Who are the people in your tightest little inner circle that are going to be there with you on delivery day? Okay. So start popping that in the chat because I want to see what everybody has. Husband and mom, love you, Carla. Love it, Lauren. Got it. Yes, look, Nat too. My twinning Nat. So a lot of people, good. Husband and mom, husband, my wife, love it. Love it, love it. Oh, Kate, you're going to be so excited. Kate, if you guys Just throwing it out there. If anybody's inducing lactation, if you happen to be a 2-mom family, please call me. I would love to play with you guys. It's the best part about being a 2-mom family is there's a lot of milk to go around, right? That's it. Amanda, will you feed my kids on the next go around? Okay, I know you would. I would feed yours too. Even though we didn't do it right for our own kids the first time around, I feel like I would do better for your kids because I love your kids almost as much as my own kids. Maybe a little more. Don't tell my kids. Okay. Okay. All right. So who will be there on delivery day? I love it. You guys are totally picking up what I'm putting down. So I see a lot of partners, and here's why I even bring this up. There should be nobody coming to your hospital room on delivery day that you don't want to see your boobs. Boobs, 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 boobs. You're probably going to be breastfeeding 24/7 after these kids get here if this is something that you wish to do. Okay, but just know that if you are not like comfortable being topless around people from work, don't have them come to the hospital. If you are not comfortable being topless around your father-in-law, don't have them come to the hospital. Like, it is totally fine to say, I will see you when we get home. There's nothing wrong with that. Once upon a time, even your partners weren't allowed in the hospital. How crazy is that? When my mother was born, her father wasn't even allowed in the room with my grandmother. And that's only my mother, but she is 755 years old, so it does make sense. But yeah, back in the day, it would just be you had no family come to see you. So the fact that we get to have our partners or our moms or our sisters is just absolutely extraordinary. But I really want you to just be conscious of the people that are there so that you do not limit your actions based on who's in the room with you. Okay. The next thing that I do want you guys to discuss as a team is I want you to discuss your comfort measures. Okay. So, and the comfort measures doesn't have to be like the level of medication that's coming through an IV. The comfort measures could be that you basically you want scented candles around. Well, you can't have candles because of oxygen, but you can have flameless candles. That is a possibility. You can have aromatherapy. You can have some type of acupuncture or a masseuse even that your doula could potentially do. You can have some type of massage. You can be able to move freely about. You may say like, hey, I don't want an epidural until I am, I don't know, 7 centimeters dilated or whatever the heck your hospital allows you to do. But discuss with your partner what comfort measures you would like. Put that on your worksheet. Okay, that's in your little workbook. Discuss it with your partner, discuss it with your doctor, and know what realistic measures are versus getting to the hospital and finding out that you can't use aromatherapy for some weird reason that the hospital doesn't allow it. Okay. The one thing that everybody can do, which is fairly simple, is make yourself a birth playlist. Like for realsies, just bring, like, even if you took your phone and you put your phone on speaker and you just had it playing in the background, nobody's going to tell you to take that off. And even if you're delivering in an OR, whether it's a C-section or vaginal delivery, just know that for real, most hospitals are totally fine with plugging your phone into the speaker system or having you connect through, Bluetooth so that you can play your playlist during delivery. Like, how cute would that be to have your babies born to like the song that you fell in love with your partner to? How cute is that? So now I want to ask another question. What is one of the songs that's going to be on your birth playlist? Amanda, what would you choose on your birth playlist?
Salt and pepper.
I knew you were going to say
Push
that.
it real good.
I knew that was going to be it. If I could have bet money, I should have actually said, I'm going to make Amanda write it and I will take a bet. So I don't know. I think the first song, I remember the first thing that John ever bought me was a Pink Floyd tape, old school style. And so I think on my birth playlist, which I did not have because I did not know that I could, it would be Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Aw, Georgia by Vance Joy. Yes. Now I'm going to have to listen to that later, Lauren. But yeah, 100% create a birth playlist, bring some peace and tranquility to that labor and delivery room, to that OR, whatever you need to do it. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing is, and I know we're running out of time, and I apologize, guys, but I really do want to talk about this acronym, and I want to make sure that you are saying it in your head often. So a lot of times in the very beginning, when I asked you guys what you were anxious about, I saw that some of you were worried about being out of control or trusting other people. Like, I know that that was there. So I want to say this is something that you should say to yourself, not just during delivery, but you should say to yourself all the time. And by the way, all these pictures that are in our slideshow this whole time are actual Twiniversity families. Like, how cute is that? So, and feel free, like if you want to send us a picture, I would be thrilled to include you if you would allow us. But these are all real Twiniversity families. So this family is in the NICU, everything is going good. But one of the times, even in the NICU, we always encourage parents to use their brain. So what does that mean? So if a doctor comes in and says, "Hi, Ms. Diaz. Yes, it looks like you want to have a vaginal delivery, but it looks like that's not going to work out for you. So we're going to give you a C-section." Okay, that's my doctor voice. Say, "Okay, doc, I hear you. What are the benefits of this?" "Well, the benefits of having a C-section is it's going to be a much more controlled environment where we'll be able to expedite the process and have those babies out in no time, and everybody could go home super quick." Okay, great. What they're not mentioning is that it's major abdominal surgery and you're not going home so quick. You're spending 3 days in the hospital. Okay, just saying. And I'm not anti C-section for the record, just so you know. I'm not pro vaginal either. I'm actually pro whatever the heck you want to do. I have no role in this anymore. Okay, I just want you to be happy. So, what are the benefits of having a C-section? And then he tells you all this, and you say, "Well, okay, what's the R? What are the risks of this?" "Well, of course, there's risks associated with any surgeries, including XYZ, elemental P, QRSTV, and yeah," and be like, "Okay, fine, sounds good." Okay. What are the alternatives if we do not opt to have a C-section? "Well, we could do a forceps delivery or a vacuum delivery, or we could get you up and moving and put you on and give you a peanut bowl or a yoga bowl to sit on." And it's like, hey, where were those options when you first told me that I needed to have a C-section? Just ask what the alternatives are. And then, of course, what is your intuition telling you? Like, is your intuition screaming, "No C-section, I don't want this"? And by the way, this is just a sample that I'm using. This could be for anything, okay? Anything along the way, no matter what it is, just know that you're allowed to ask questions and advocate for yourself, okay? So what is your intuition telling you? And you could say, "Hey, doc, listen, I really feel like the babies are trying to tell me they want to come out old school style. And I think this is what's going to make me feel more comfortable." And the doctor's going to be like, "Well, we got to look at this, blah, 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 blah." And then finally say to the doc, "What if I literally do nothing? What if I do nothing? What if I don't have an induction? What if I don't have a C-section? What if I just wait? What happens then?" Let the doctors explain everything to you. Let the nurses explain everything to you. The social worker, the lunch lady, I don't care, the bus person, whoever you have questions for. If you feel like something is off or things aren't going the way you want, ask about these things and use your brain. Write it down. Remember, what are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the alternatives? What is your intuition telling you? And what if you do absolutely nothing? What will happen? But consistently, please remember to use your brain. Okay. Also, not a bad idea for all of you that are going to be with your partners to create some kind of informal communication system, i.e., maybe a safe word, right? So if you say the word pajamas, or if you tell your partner, "I'm going to have to change my pajamas," do you really mean changing your pajamas? Or is that going to be the word that tips your partner off that you don't feel safe and you need them to use their brain because you just can't handle what's happening right now? And you need to just tap out for a second, just take a breath and then refresh and then jump back in. So what if they use their brain? So have some way of communicating so you could kind of play good cop, bad cop in the hospital, because I don't want you being the bad cop. Okay, I always want you being the good cop. All right, then we got to talk about recovery tips too. Okay, now weirdly, okay, post-delivery, vaginal or C-section, doesn't matter. Epidural, no epidural, I don't care. Any type of delivery under the sun, your doctors are going to want you to pee within 6 hours after you have your babies. The reason for this is they don't want your bladder getting too enlarged and too angry that it starts pissing off your uterus that's trying to contract and heal. So doctors are always going to be like, oh my God, she's going to drink some water. Did you pee yet? Did you pee in the hat? Which is that little thing that you put on top of the toilet. So know that you have to go to the bathroom post delivery just to make sure that everything is good. This is especially important if you had a catheter. Now, here's the weird thing. If you had a freaking catheter, right, because you had a C-section and because you had an epidural or whatever, just know that if you had a catheter, it's going to take all the pee-pee out of your bladder. And now we basically got to refill our bladder so that we have something to pee out in the next 6 hours. So post-delivery, the minute that they tell you green light, you could drink, green light, you could eat and drink. And if you're like, I can't drink water, I drank 75 gallons during my pregnancy, drink some ginger ale, have some juice. Ask, and literally, once again, you could ask that you will have access to 24 hours a day. There's usually a pantry on every floor of labor and delivery, postpartum floor especially, so that you could get your juices and stuff like that. Even here in New York, I just went to, which I will come to your labor and delivery, by the way. So the minute you deliver, I will come to the hospital. But recently I was just visiting a family and she was maybe like 3 hours postpartum and she was already in her room. And so she asked for snacks. So I went on the hunt to go find the secret pantry in that hospital. Not only did I, of course, take 87 ginger ales for her, but they also had like real New York cheesecake. It was like a super bougie, fancy hospital. I was like, oh, I'm getting her some cheesecake. So she had cheesecake and ginger ale. It was great. I gave her some water. We got her CBR box all set up. Like we were like ready to go there. It was wonderful. So having somebody like that that's going to be helpful, that's a good one. Yeah, and I don't care if your boobs are out. Like I don't even notice boobs anymore. I basically work with boobs 7 days a week. So I don't even know. But for realsies, like just know that you do have to drink. Okay. So that's going to be what all that water is. And that's what that food is because we need to get your body moving. Now, if you're worried about pain, I'm worried about pain too. I don't even like, God forbid they cut my cuticle too like low, right? If I go get a manicure, I'm like dying and I'm like, oh, I'm such a baby. Weirdly, I will tell you, it's fine. If you're a baby too, they're okay with it. You just have to let them know what your pain threshold is, but you should have that conversation before delivery so they could line up everything that they need to line up. Okay. So if you're like, no, I basically walked around on a broken leg for 6.5 months. I didn't even know. Clearly, your pain threshold is going to be much different than mine, where I can't even have a hangnail. Okay, so have a conversation with your doctor beforehand. Let your partner know kind of what pain remedies you'd like, whether it's medication, whether it's massage, whether it's acupuncture, acupressure, whatever your hospital offers to you. Once again, ask those questions during your hospital tour. So have that all lined up. And if they say that they have to bottle feed a baby, do not get stressed about it. Okay. If the doctors are like, listen, you're really not making enough milk right now, and we need this baby to have more milk. Do you like my doctor voice today, by the way? I feel like thumbs ups or thumbs downs are needed, so I know if that's a good. Amanda loves it. But Amanda, you love anything I do. So like for real, like I can't go by you. Oh, true. So if you have to bottle feed, do not get stressed about it whatsoever. And then if you have to continue bottle feeding once you get home, we strongly, 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 as a lactation professional, will tell you, Dr. Brown's is the only freaking way to go. And you got to get those preemie nipples. So they basically come in preemie. So P for preemie, T for transitional, level 1, 2, 3. Those are all the levels of Dr. Brown nipples. So if you buy a bunch of the Dr. Brown's, either the tall or the wide neck, 9 ounce, then make sure that you get the nipples that go according to the age of your babies, right? So if you're going to do a combination of breastfeed and bottle feed, you definitely want to get those preemie nipples to kind of keep the flow consistent with what your boobs would be doing as what the bottle would be doing. Okay. So line that up. That's something we'll talk about in the gear class extensively. When it comes to bottles, I'll show you how to pick a bottle and why we choose some bottles over others. If we're doing a combination of breast or bottle, not all bottles are created equally. Forget it. I could go on for another 45 minutes just about nipples on a bottle. But if you need to bottle feed, do not get worried about it. I just would really like for you to have some boob action within the first hour after delivery, but don't get stressed if you have to give your baby a bottle. Okay. And by the way, boob action doesn't mean that you have to have the babies to boob. Boob action could mean that you hand express, that's fine. I'll take what I could get. I don't get nervous about it, but just have some kind of action in that first hour during your recovery time, because I will tell you, so even those of you that don't want to breastfeed, if you breastfeed, you will have a quicker recovery, because one of the processes that happens during lactation is that we basically have this thing, it's called a milk ejection reflex. You can Google it later, that I will give you total permission to Google, but it's basically like a little contraction around your milk houses, and it is able to help your babies eat more efficiently. But that contraction also happens to your uterus during breastfeeding. So it starts putting you back together again by shrinking your uterus in a much quicker way if you are breastfeeding. Okay. That is why. But you definitely want to make sure you're drinking. You want to think about a good post-birth meal, i.e., something with high protein, high fiber, so you could poop like a regular person. If anybody is experiencing like really like legendary hemorrhoids during their pregnancy, no, you are not alone. You need to start drinking more water today. Start focusing on your fiber today and your protein today, so that something is actually coming out of from point A is this one and point B is that one down there. So we do have something to go down this path. You have to think about that not only during pregnancy, but your postpartum period as well. All right, so we're on to our final slide. All right, so this is going to be your first introduction of your twinnies. Yes, in our regular expecting twins class, we go over C-sections, vaginal deliveries, we do all that stuff. That's in the online class that we have. Feel free to check that out. Amanda put in the link earlier in the class, so feel free to scroll up in our chat and grab that again. But post-delivery, you really have to make sure that you go slow. All right. And slow, I don't just mean physically, I mean the whole kit and caboodle. If you are too overwhelmed and it is too much for you, it is okay to just say, I just need a minute. Can I just catch my breath? It is fine. If you want all the babies on you, have all the babies on you. If you want none of the babies on you, have none of the babies on you. But go slow. And please make sure that you are constantly communicating with your partner and you are asking for help. Okay? So ask for help. Make sure you drink your water. I already talked about that. It's totally okay to be nervous. I'm nervous too. I'm nervous most of the time, still to this day. But it's okay to be nervous. It's a new life. You're going to do absolutely great. And then if your babies go to the NICU, we'll worry about that. But over 80% of 20s go to the NICU. Sometimes it's just for a minute. So don't focus on that at all. Ride that out as you go. Okay. And please, 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 when they give you discharge orders, freaking read them. If I had a nickel for every time somebody was like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. And I'd be like, but Chacho, it's literally written right here on your discharge orders. So please make sure that you are reading your discharge orders. Guys, I know we have so much for you. This is just some of the things that we have for you at Twiniversity. We have the week by week twin pregnancy timeline. We have that on our website. We have YouTube videos. We have emails that come to you. We have an entire Etsy store. We have Facebook groups. Screenshot this, come back to it later. But like I said, we run our business like a democracy. If there's something that you want that we do not have yet, please let us know and we will create it for you. Okay? But most importantly, I'm telling you, don't blink because you're going to miss it. As the saying goes, the days are long, but the years are really short. Would I go back 20 years and do it all over again? Hell to the no. I would absolutely never go back. I loved every experience along that whole way. Some of them, 100% shit show. Horrible. Can't believe I made it out alive. But some of them so magnificent. And they're the stupidest little moments that just, they're just wonderful. I don't want you to miss anything. I don't want your anxiety or your stress to blanket anything, because you are amazing. You're going to have amazing babies. And Twiniversity, myself, Amanda, and the rest of the Twiniversity team, we're going to be there every step of the way to make sure that you feel good. And we really mean it. If you've joined any other pregnancy groups on Baby Center or a local group, there's nothing like Twiniversity in the world for singletons. And that is because they just don't get it. We do. We get it. We've been there. We talk the talk, we walk the walk, and we made it through. And you are going to as well. I love those Winnie the Pooh pajamas, by the way. All right, guys, that's the coupon code again for the boot camp that is there. And then what else do I have? Oh, and of course, we have a ginormous giveaway for you. So we have Baby Trend, Dr. Brown's, we have Ada Studios, which is a twin mom that makes her own products, copies of the books, free classes. So yeah, we got all of that for you. Scan that. It'll all be hosted on Instagram, but we have a ginormous giveaway that's valued at well over $6,000. So yeah, we're not worrying about taxes. That's a you problem. That is not an us problem, but it also includes free cord blood banking from our friends at CBR. So yeah, Monica, you and the rest of the team here, if anybody has any questions, message us at community@twiniversity.com. That is going to be read sooner. And for my New Yorkers, email community@Twiniversity, or you could email me. Anybody actually can. I'm just Natalie@Twiniversity.com. Feel free to let me know. But thank you, thank you, thank you for playing with us for our Delivery Day boot camp. I hope to see you at that registry event. We have boot camp coming up. I don't know what else we have coming up. So always make sure that you're going to twiniversity.com. There is an event calendar that is on our homepage. Check and make sure that you are registered to get all the information for that specific event. But if you need anything, you know where to find me. I love you guys. I wish you the absolute best. And I am sorry that I spoke so long, but I did. It's just what I do. If you have any questions, you just let me know. All right, kids, I wish you the best. Thank you so much for playing with us. Now go back to your reality. We can't all have fun 24 hours a day. I can't either, but it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.